So this is the Filipina Baba. I'm a Filipina Baba because my spouse is Ukrainian. And in this channel, we will be showing you the various foods between the two cultures and how they can be similar at the same time. So with all of the changes and all of the restrictions of 2020, we basically were left to fend for ourselves for Sviat Vechir. Apologies in advance for my terrible pronunciation. I am a Ukrainian school dropout, so I do mix up my r's and p's, and especially the b's and v's. So I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. So for this first installment for Sviat Vechir, it's going to be the infamous Ukrainian borscht. So quick story, the first time I ever laid eyes on this red root vegetable, I guess you could say, was in 1994. It was for Christmas Eve dinner. It was a Polish one. So that was the first time I've ever tried borscht as well. So this recipe is courtesy of what I call my green Bible. It is the traditional Ukrainian cookery by Savella Stechishin from 1976. So come join me as we cook this dish and as I fumble through making 12 Ukrainian dishes for Christmas Eve. Now let's go through the ingredients for Ukrainian borscht. So obviously beets, so we need 2 beets. It called for cutting it into thin matchsticks. However, I got lazy and I grated it. 1 small carrot, also thinly sliced. Apologies in advance for my chopping. I'm not a professional cook. Onions, 1 onion, 1 celery, 1 small potato, 3 cups of cabbage, half a cup of tomato juice. Our aromatics, so we have bay leaf, peppercorns, some salt, some pepper, and 1 clove of garlic, and a lemon to make it a bit tart. Or you could also use vinegar. It's up to you. And I don't really have a measurement for this because the book also doesn't. It's to taste. And you can't forget about vegetable oil. About 3 tablespoons. Now let's get cooking. So to bring me luck with this whole cooking thing, I'm actually wearing an apron from the 1960s from a real Baba and a wooden spoon. Look at that. There's burn mark and all. So come join me. Our first thing to do is we're going to heat up the oil and we're going to put the onion. And we're going to cook this onion until it's soft. Now that the onion is slightly wilted, we're going to add our beets. Our peppercorn. And the recipe called for parsley root, so I don't have that, so I'm going to add a bay leaf. And also we're going to be adding some stock to this. So the recipe called for water, about 8 to 10 cups of water, but what I did is I actually made some vegetable stock from scratch. So to make vegetable stock, it's very easy. All you need are the holy trinity of stock. So celery, carrots, and onion. So you don't even need to like chop it nicely because we're gonna strain it at the end. And food scraps. One little secret, if you want a rich color, brown color to your vegetable stock, keep the onion skins because it dyes the water. And in this stock, I'm adding some mushrooms just for an extra depth of flavor. And don't forget garlic. So you don't need to chop it, just crush it and put it in. And next, all we have to do is cover this in water. And then you just let it simmer it on your stove for 3 hours, and that's it. So we're going to cook this until just before the beets are fully cooked. So the recipe called for cover and cook until the beets are barely done. Not really sure what the definition of barely done is. I think this is barely done. I'm not actually really sure if it is overdone, underdone, but this is this baba's barely done definition. So now we're going to add the carrots, celery, and the potatoes that I soaked in cold water to make sure they don't brown. And now this one, at least in the recipe, it said 15 minutes. So now I'm going to set our timer for 15 minutes. So see you in 15 minutes. So it's been 15 minutes and now it's time to add the cabbage. And this cabbage is supposed to be cooked until tender, but not overcooked, yet retain crispness. Again, that's another Baba instruction from that book that I'm just gonna wing it. So I'll see you after this is cooked, yet tender, but not overcooked. Okay, so now that the cabbage has been tenderized, yet retained its crispness, I think, it's time to add the remaining ingredients. So the only remaining one is the garlic, like 1 clove of crushed garlic, tomato juice, half a cup, and we'll just stir that. And it's time to add a little bit of this lemon juice to make it tart, yet not sour. That was the instruction. So not really sure how much. I did taste the stock or the soup a little bit earlier. It was on the sweeter side, so I'm just gonna put about 3/4 of this 1 whole lemon juice. And then I will taste it and season it to my liking with salt and pepper. Here's my finished dish. It looks like borscht. Tastes like borscht. I think my first dish for Sviat Vechir is a success. So, Boże. But you do know what's missing? Vushka. Stay tuned to the next episode.